سبيل الدموع سبيل
Ting didi ting didi ting didi didi ting didi ting didi ting didi didi ting didi ting didi ting didi ting ting didi ting didi ta. Welcome to this particular video. I was just murmuring all those cool things. I was just going through these points and I was like, okay, how do I call this? It was like, I am going to keep this content as raw as possible. So I was like, okay, let me start recording it so that you get to see me murmuring and with a weird voice and like that. Anyways, it's a great song. I'm not able to recollect the song. Like, na 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 na. Ed Sheeran. I have no idea. I have no idea. Anyways, this video we are going to talk about three steps process. The three-step process to gaining confidence for publishing YouTube video. Damn, that name is so long. Three-step process to gaining confidence for publishing a YouTube video. Now, thank you so much for tuning in this particular video where we are going to talk about gaining confidence for publishing your YouTube video. Now, YouTube video, probably if you are an introvert, you can get two categories. Probably it will be very easy for you, or probably it will be like the biggest monsters that you're going to face. I took 2 years to confront that monster of myself. I'm a victim of it. I know how the struggle is. That's why when I was just scripting it out, I was like, okay, how was I able to cruise through those 2 years of being overwhelmed, and what actually made me to start posting my first YouTube video? What was the journey like? So I kind of segmented those things into three categories, and if you follow these three categories, being an introvert, getting into entrepreneurship, being a coach on the front end, I think this is going to be really easy for you. Nothing is easy, it's going to be an adventure, but when you follow these steps, probably it's going to be a smoother way to launching yourself on your YouTube channel, publishing that first video. Now start taking notes because it's going to be a cool stuff. It's going to take a lot of efforts. You're going to invest a lot of time into building this particular habit, but it is going to be worth it toward the end of the day. Now that it's me, it's like a backdrop that's going within my mind when I'm recording, when I'm even talking to you about this. I'm not even getting this out. Let this be as raw as possible. Anyway, so the first step is you have to start writing. Now the goal is what? To create a YouTube video. Not just creating a YouTube video, but then publishing a YouTube video. So, dude, this song is just going on with me. The music, I don't even know which song. So the goal is not just to record, but also to publish the YouTube video. Every time I say YouTube is like that's coming. Anyway, so now that that's the goal, how can you reach to that goal? By taking small steps. First step, very small step. The least amount of effort that will take. Cool, of all three steps, the least amount. So that's going to be the first step. Write down stuff. Got it? How did I gain even confidence to record my podcast? Was where I started writing things down. So whenever I have a thought, and whenever I think that thought is important or a valuable thought, I'll just open my notes and start writing about it. Like what I feel about that, what are steps to do in there, what are the methods people can do, what are the mistakes people do, and how can this benefit you, how can this benefit me, what can I do it differently, how can I do it differently, and I start writing things down. And when I start writing things down, I don't have to post it anywhere. It's just staying on my phone, on my notes. Nobody's going to judge me. Nobody's going to criticize me. Nobody's going to do anything. Nobody's going to do anything when it comes to writing things down. That's step number one. Cool. You start there. Then what do? We are still on step number one. After you maintain the consistency of probably 5 to 6 days of writing, you move on to the next part of step number one, probably point 1.1 of step number one. Whenever you feel something, now that you have gained that habit of creating, now that you know how valuable whatever you're doing, so valuable, you might not feel that is valuable, but then when you start posting it out, people will find it valuable. Like mindset battle that you have to fight. Fight, not fight. You have to fight, not find. Is make a small post of how to do things, why to do things, how can you get a great signature, why calligraphy is important, why writing journal is important, why skateboarding is important, why deep sea diving is important, why traveling is important, how can a solo traveler, so when whatever your domain is, how can you play carom, how can you play chess, how can you play video game, whatever that is, whatever your superpower is, you start slowly releasing that content to the world in the form of in the written form. Now again, you don't have to do any cool things, you don't have to edit it out, you don't need to put music to that, you don't need to have animations to that, you don't need to have a great setup, you don't need anything to do that. You start there, you start writing stuff down, you start making small little post, graduate that post into a small article. From graduating from article, write a 500 word, because now you already have experience with writing it down. Now you just convert those things into these things. It's a small post, derive that concept into an article, into a blog. So when you keep on doing those things, now the goal is publishing, not getting traffic, not the world seeing what you're doing, but releasing it out, gaining the confidence to release and publish it. We are going to use strategies and tactical stuff to get people here. The traffic, how can you generate traffic, different video altogether, different topic altogether. But here we are learning how can we publish it out and keep on publishing things out, so that tomorrow, tactically and using strategies, how can we get people here, because there are 1,000 ways of doing that. That's not the goal. This is the goal for the moment. So that once you do this, that's secondary. Once you're great at writing and publishing and stuff like that, we move on to step number 2. Now that you know how much time it takes writing a blog and editing it out and publishing it out, what do? You take your phone, for example, this is your phone. You take your phone. This is so small that I can't think about this like that. I cannot even pretend to think that that's even a phone. Anyways, this is the phone. What do you do? For example, this is the phone. What do? You go to your voice memo, voice recording. You hit the record button. You start recording what you feel. You don't have to have a structure. You don't have to talk about statistics. You don't need to have a framework. You just record the audio. What is in your mind, just record it in a voice note. That's all. So a voice medium is nothing but a podcast. So you have graduated from writing things down to now recording things down on an audio format. You don't need to again have a fancy mic or a fancy look, or you don't have to dress. You can be on your bed almost sleeping in your pajamas. You don't even have to care anything, but knowing that my idea needs to go in some some medium, it has to come out. Boom, record in video, record in audio, not video, audio, record in audio, and go to anchor.fm, start publishing things out the same way you start publishing blogs out. Now this medium is faster. You don't have to think and write, but you just have to start. You just have to go with the flow and start shooting, recording content and publishing it out. The traffic generation different. We'll get traffic. We can get traffic into those things in later stages. The goal is to gaining confidence in publishing things. Step number 2 done. Now that you're confident in writing stuff and publishing, that's the third step. Is now sit in front of a camera, dress nice, get a good background, or maybe a green screen, whatever works for you, or even this virtual backgrounds like that. Now that you have gained that confidence from graduating from writing podcast, from going from writing medium to recording an audio medium to now recording video, you just need a phone. Boom, start talking. Now you'll be more confident in vocalizing what you said because of your prior experience that you've gained. You have kind of stacked confidence over confidence, experience over experience from different things. Now when you do this, you will fumble and mumble for like probably 10 to 20 videos. Great. Fumble and mumble. Be as authentic as possible. You will not get words to speak. You will freeze in your own mind. You will have no idea what you're going to speak. Probably you start at point A, you go all the way to point B, M, and you figure out, I had to go to point B, I missed point B, and I'm all the way to point N. It will happen. That's the natural process. But the goal is publishing content. Again, there are a lot of hacks you can do. great at it, but the goal is the more you practice things out, the more you gain confidence. The more you gain confidence, the more courage you have to start publishing the video on YouTube. Now, the more courage you have, the conviction will come into picture. Once you have conviction, boom, 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 add strategies, add structure, add framework, and get people and get that traffic and start kneeling on the industry in your own domain. It's so much fun. It's actually so much fun. Now, the key to doing these things, so the steps we have discussed, I have like the key is now the goal is to be creating long-term assets. Now, that's the only reason we are publishing first and getting traffic later. You're going to create long-term assets. Assets, in other words, is money coming your way. You're going to run advertisements, you're going to build funnels, you're going to build lists, you're going to make sure when you build a list and when you have a list, this may sound technical to you, but this is how we'll get in. This is what we do. These are all crazy things that we do within the community, the academy of artists and scientists. If you're not part of the community, you'll find links here and there. You can chop in, see what we do, see how we do, and get a part, be a part of this community where you can actually strategically get your videos a voice, get your voice those videos and get people, start helping people out and benefiting people out. So the goal is to create long-term assets which are going to give you money. You will, now the best thing of this particular thing is like you will gain clarity in what you're doing. You will gain confidence in what you're doing. You will gain conviction in what you're doing just by two things. The more you practice, the better you get. The more you vocalize it, the refined things you will get. Got it? The more you practice, the more you vocalize. The more you keep on talking about the same thing in different directions, the more you get great at it. Third point, the more you practice, you get better at it. Done. I think this is one of the quotes that I heard from someone, I have no idea. Your first 10,000 photos are going to be bad. I don't know who said that, I don't know in what context, but then this context, this particular thing kind of goes and applies to this particular thing that we're discussing. Is your first couple of videos are going to be very bad. Just we are trying to be aware and conscious that they are going to be bad. That is not going to stop you from getting higher results, the higher reward that's already waiting you on the other side of the fence. The only way you can cross the bridge is go through the bridge. There's no other way around. You have to go through that, and the more you practice it, the more you vocalize it, the better you get. The last and final point that on the final note that we're going to close this particular video is start recording things and don't break the momentum of the things that you've already started, because it takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of efforts to start something. Now that you've started something, keep the momentum building. That being said, these are the three-step process to gaining confidence for publishing a YouTube video. Long headline. Anyway, thank you so much for being a part of this particular video. Hope this helped, and go out, stop thinking about what will happen, start recording things, start writing down things, start publishing, and see you in another video.
وبث الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء الرحيب الفسيح.